Hey there, I'm Nicole King, broker-owner of 41 Realty Group in Billings, Montana. Last month, we introduced you to the Veterans Navigation Network. They're a local nonprofit who pairs mentor veterans with veterans and their families and caregivers who need help navigating the sometimes complicated and overwhelming world of veterans benefits and services. This week, we're introducing you to some of the other local nonprofits who serve veterans. Yesterday was the Adaptive Performance Center, and today is Dog Tag Buddies. Dee Baker, the founder and executive director of Dog Tag Buddies, has a deep passion for properly training service dogs and pairing them with veterans. I've really enjoyed learning more about the service dog training process and hearing the many success stories that she has shared with me.
So my name is Dee Baker. I am the executive director and founder of Dog Tag Buddies. And the reason that Dog Tag Buddies exists is my husband went to Iraq in 2004 and 2005. And when he came home, there were some things that we didn't know were going to change. We didn't know about PTSD, we didn't know about traumatic brain injuries and how it would directly impact our lives. You hear about it, but you don't really put it into perspective until you start living through it. And one of the things that we figured out pretty early on was that the dogs made a big difference for him, that when things were really stressful and he was really having a crappy day, he could go in the house, he could sit down on the floor with the dogs, and it just kind of changed the dynamics of what he was going through at that moment. And understanding that, knowing how the dogs made him feel, over a period of time we started talking about it and started looking at, a dog can help you, I wonder what it can do for other people. And we started talking about how many veterans that he knew personally and how many veterans are in our community and how many dogs were in shelters and rescues, and talking about a way to get them together. And what ultimately started out as a conversation literally at our kitchen table about being able to help veterans and rescue dogs has turned into what Dog Tag Buddies is today. I didn't set out with the intention of training service dogs. But as we started building this organization into something tangible, the need to do more became quite apparent. We had veterans at that point in time who weren't leaving their home because they were so overwhelmed with going out in public. It just became so hard for them, and figuring out what does it look like for a veteran today to be able to deal with the issues that they deal with. How do we help them? Our tagline is helping veterans one rescue at a time, and it really is. And everything we do in our program is at no cost to our veterans, so we rely on community support, and we have been so blessed by the community at large here in Billings, Yellowstone County, and across the state, the people that want to help support our mission. So we've been pretty blessed by that, and for that I'm very, very grateful.
Hello, my name's Sarah Childers.
I'm Bonnie Lesby.
And we're here with Dog Tag Buddies. We've got Jenny. She's going to her new veteran here in a couple months. And we've got Odin.
Our dogs come from all around the state. We work with a whole bunch of different rescues. We match the dog to the veteran. So first they go through the application portion of it. I meet with them to find out what their requirements are. Then we start looking at the shelters. And there's several tests the dogs have got to do because we just can't take every one of them. They got to be on the younger side. 8 months is perfect because they're past the puppy stage and they're ready to learn stage. We then introduce the veteran to a couple different dogs, and we see which ones actually spark together. So even though we already have a rough idea what dog is going to work with what veteran, we make them part of it so they get to meet several different candidates. Once they have their dog, then they're required to come to class. And the first one is just a basic manner class. The other two phases are more towards service dogs. This is where they've got to learn task and all the public access. Our average takes about 2 years from start to finish to get the veterans through it, because the veterans are responsible for doing the training. We do the basic of get them under the control so they don't come out wide open, but the training is all done by the veterans. She was actually a special case. The veteran is very OCD about hair and dirt, and he didn't want a real large dog, so we were looking for a boxer mix, and they're not real popular. So she took a while. And when they first met, it was love at first sight. They were a perfect pair with each other. This guy came from the High Line, and he was actually originally picked up, so he's going to be fairly large size, that he could also double for a mobility dog if we needed it.
There's a lot that goes into being a service dog. If a kid trips over this dog, or any number of things could happen in public where somebody run over them with a shopping cart, they need to have no response at all.
They gotta know the difference between I've been put in a stay that my owner now needs my help. They now need me to alert on them.
Yep.
That they have to be able to make that choice to say, okay, even though I'm in a downstay, I still need to go do my job. Once these dogs go to their veterans, there's no more doggy daycare. These guys are going to have no social action with other dogs. The only person they're going to be with is their veteran. What tasks do the dogs perform?
My own personal dog and I are working on a nightmare interruption, which is something that we teach. It's very important for anybody who has nightmares, but especially veterans.
Anxiety is a big thing. They have to be able to recognize the person is starting to get anxious and disrupted. We have a lot of people that have never left the house until they come in here and fill out the application. So this gets them back out in society. We also have veterans that feel better if they feel like the dog is watching their six. So we have 3 other positions we add. One, the dog covers in front of us. One, the dog sits beside us and looks backwards. And the other one, the dog stands directly behind us. It gives them a little bit of that buffer zone that they feel like nobody can approach them before the dog alerts them. We do a lot of picking up items. If they drop their cane, if they fall and they need to get up, the dogs are taught how to brace and help them up.
Come here, you. One of the things that part of what we do and part of the reason we do what we do is to help bring awareness and help prevent suicide among our veteran population. I feel that my mission is not just about the dogs and the veterans, it's also helping educate the general public about suicide awareness and what it is and what can you do to help. I'm part of the Mayor's Challenge. The Mayor's Challenge is a coalition of different groups and organizations within Yellowstone County that is helping to bring education and awareness to the general public. I'm also working with the different VFWs and American Legions to go out and do what's called QPR gatekeeper training. QPR is very similar to CPR. It's question, persuade, refer. And what that does is it's an hour-long training that I go out and I give to people to help them learn how to identify and help someone who might be in crisis. And when we start talking about the veteran suicide rate in the state of Montana, we are among the highest in the nation. Our veteran population, we have per capita, we have 10% of our population that's veterans. When you start talking about the suicide rate among that population, it's incredibly high. Montana itself also has an incredibly high suicide rate among our youth. It's not about taking away their weapons. It's not about anything other than being able to help in a moment of crisis. What does that look like? Do I know what I'm doing? Can I answer these questions? Can I help them? Can I actually identify what's going on? And a lot of times what someone will do if they hear something, they will either deny it. That's not what I heard. They will ignore it. Or they will freeze. They will panic. Because what if I say the wrong thing? And so it's not about saying the wrong thing, it's about saying something. It's about making sure that you're there to help that person get through that crisis. Who's a veteran going to call? They're going to call another veteran. When they come into our facility, I let them know, if I think you're in crisis or I think something's going on, I will jump in and do what I need to do. You might be angry at me, but I would rather have you angry at me than have to go to your funeral. What you're doing is letting people know that, hey, I'm here, if you need to talk to me, I'm here to help you. Anything that we can do is better than nothing. And for a lot of our veterans, when they come into this program, they've tried all kinds of different treatments. This isn't a one-size-fits-all. A dog is not going to be the answer for everybody. But you know, that dog might be that one thing that actually stops them and gives them pause to think about, is this really where I want to go? None of us can ever look at a veteran and go, I understand what you're going through. We don't. But being able to understand the situation at that moment and being able to help them get through that crisis, I think is really important. Our application is available on our website. If you go to dogtagbuddies.org, you scroll down the page, there's eligibility information, there's also volunteer information. At any point, if anyone has questions, concerns, not sure what the application looks like, they can certainly give us a call. Our number is on the website as well. And We're always happy to answer questions. We're always happy to, you know, if somebody's not sure if this is the right program for them, we can certainly go through it with them and talk through what the application process looks like and what does our training program look like. It's not easy. I mean, training a dog is a lot of work. It's a huge commitment, and, you know, a lot of people like the idea of it, but when it starts coming down to how much work and time you have to put into it, for some people it can be fairly overwhelming. So making sure that we're doing it in a way that is meaningful and helpful for our veterans is going to be really important.
Best dog ever.
Are you the best dog ever? I bet you are.
Aren't Dee Dee, her trainers, and those adorable dogs amazing? To learn more about Dog Tag Buddies, head on over to their website. We'll link it at the end of this video and in the video description. Make sure that you like and follow this YouTube channel so that you don't miss our next video about horses, spirits, healing. Until then, make it a great day.